Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Who Asked Me podcast. I am so excited because today I have somebody from TikTok that I love their takes. I love when you get going. It is Cameron Wild.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I love your takes as well. You're one of the
I
first creators I started watching. Like,
Oh my God, thank you. No, I love when you're like, let's get into it. I'm like, let's. Actually, let's.
oh,
Okay.
there's always so much. Oh my gosh.
And we are here to talk all of the takes today as far as Bravo and a little bit of Grammys. So, on that note, the Grammys were last night. Okay.
Hmm.
It was, I don't really watch the Grammys that much. I don't, the only award shows that I really used to love watching were like the VMAs and like
Right.
the MTV Movie Awards and stuff. And even those now are just kind of like, eh. But
Yeah.
of course, everybody has their opinions, and Beyonce did win Country Album of the Year and
As she
and
should.
Album of the Year. Yep, as she should. And
As
of
she
course,
should.
the racists woke up and
Uh,
they are typing on those keyboards. And you know what? I think my thing is mostly is that as somebody who listens to a lot of different genres of music, it's one of those things where it's people who only listen to certain genres and people who admittedly are not fans of Beyonce, do not listen to Beyonce, they don't get it. They are like, why is she winning? Like when and it's just like, you know what? You have a biased take. You are worried about the people who
right.
are biased towards Beyonce, but you have a biased take because you don't listen to her. You don't.
And there were people that said that Billie Eilish should have won. While yes, Billie's album is great, and I listened to that album so many times,
Mhm.
it's insane. But Billie's album is what you'd expect from Billie Eilish. I
Exactly.
feel like Cowboy Carter was a movement. She
Mhm.
exposed how much black people really influenced the country music genre
Mhm.
and that we've been pushed out just like we were with rock.
Exactly.
And of course, with album of the year, country out song of the year, which no black person, not even black
Mhm.
woman, black man has ever won.
Yep.
Of course, Beyonce deserves a win in the category after 25 years for something that's so transcendent beyond
Mhm.
the norm in pop culture,
It's past due. I mean, the Recording Academy admitted themselves that they have not given her album of the year because she wins too much.
which is crazy because
She
Taylor
wins.
Swift,
Yeah. And like, here's the thing. I'm not necessarily a Taylor Swift fan, but I understand. I'm not going to say the girl's not talented. She
right?
obviously has proven herself to be very successful. There are some songs I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good Taylor song. I'm just not a fan like that, right? And what
Yeah,
kills me is the same people having these arguments when again, the Recording Academy has said she wins too much. Like we don't think she needs it, essentially what they said. Are the same people that are like, I work hard. I deserve this. Get rid of DEI. Da 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 da. And it's like, well, babe, which is it? Which is it?
which is it?
Okay.
And
Because
with
according
D,
to them, she wins too much. She's too talented. But we need to
right?
go based off merit. Like it's just.
Because in this category for this album specifically, if Taylor, truthfully, not to ruffle feathers, but if anybody but Taylor would have won, I would have been okay
Mhm.
because it would have made sense for Sabrina to win
Yeah.
because that album was everywhere.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it was going to be Charlie XCX if it was not Beyonce because
Mhm.
Brat Summer took over the world.
Yeah.
Like even my grandma, who's like 70 plus, was like, Cameron, what's Brat Summer? I was like,
Yeah.
and then I had to explain. So I was like, okay, so it's truly viral. Who else was nominated? Oh, Chapel Roan. Okay, I could have seen that.
Mhm.
And who's that other guy? DJ.
I have no clue. I
They always
have
do that.
no clue.
Like,
I do not know. And but no, you're correct. Like, of course, Sabrina Chapel, Charlie XCX, they were everywhere. The nominations were
yeah,
absolutely deserved. But again, they're both early. Well, Charlie, not so much. Charlie's been around for a long time, but the other
yeah,
ones very early in their career. And I'm not saying because, Beyonce went through it, everybody should go through it, but that is kind of you are early on in your career. Yes, you had a body of work that was great. Everybody who knows me knows I loved Sabrina Carpenter's album. I love
oh
her.
yeah.
And I even love her earlier stuff before Short and Sweet.
Mm,
But these are newer artists, right? And again,
Right.
like you said, to your point, it's what you expect from those artists. It
Yeah.
really is. Beyonce, she stepped outside. It is a body of work, it's a movement, it's a history lesson also. And I think
Right.
that's what people have an issue with as well, because they don't want to understand that it's a history lesson. Even like anytime I meet anybody who's like a diehard Elvis fan, I side eye them because I'm like, you mean the man that stole from black people?
Right. And I even felt bad like going to like see his movie and enjoying it because I was like, there's absolutely no way. And they glazed over it and tried to
Yeah.
make him like he was some type of activist.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, there's no way that that's never come out about him after all these years and all this like apologetic culture that surrounded him.
Hmm.
Nobody's ever been like, well, actually, he was for you people. He
Yeah,
wanted
exactly.
like that's never come out. So, and same with not to be controversial, but like with Taylor Swift, it always feels performative in the way she like embraces artists
Hmm.
at the Grammys and at these award shows. And then in terms, you see things about her releasing 18 different versions of an album
Yeah.
to stifle Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX. Like, so how can you be such a fan and a girl's girl
Oh
when you
yeah.
do things? Because Beyonce's never been accused of that. Every time Beyonce has lost,
Hmm.
she golf claps, smiles, and acknowledges, even if she doesn't agree personally,
Yeah.
that the better artist won.
Exactly. And here's my other thing. A lot of times people who win album of the year up against Beyonce, they're like, Beyonce, I love you. She is not to take from Chappell Roan, but she is your favorite artist.
Yeah,
Like she really is.
right.
Adele will tell you anytime she gets on the microphone, Beyonce, I love Beyonce.
Yep, yep.
Kelsey Ballerini was at, I think, one of those country music awards, and she was like, I think it's great that Beyonce made a country album. Like, I love Beyonce. People, it's Beyonce. Okay.
The hate for her is so forced because too, I think people try so hard to throw legend and
Hmm.
onto people's names nowadays.
Hmm.
And I'm like, when you look at all of our legends, these are people with 30 plus years of career.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
Beyonce is just now getting to legendary
Hmm.
status. And yes, Billie Eilish is on her way, I hope. And like
Yeah.
I can see these other people, but I'm like, you can't compare them. Even Taylor Swift is on her way to being a music
Hmm.
legend.
Yeah.
So when you have two of these big names, you can't compete where you don't compare.
And I say this about Taylor Swift all the time also. People compare her to Beyonce. There is no comparison there. Beyonce has been doing this longer than Taylor Swift. Period. That's a
Period.
fact. That's
Yeah.
not an opinion. That is a fact. Okay.
Right.
I remember Writings on the Wall, Destiny's Child was the first CD I ever
Mhm.
bought. And I think I was in fifth grade, sixth grade.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift and I are only 2 years apart. Now, Taylor Swift came out, I want to say that first album came out when I was like in 10th grade or something like that.
Yeah, like
Again,
oh wait.
oh, yeah, a long
Yeah.
time. Okay. However, fourth grade, 10th grade, fourth grade, 10th grade.
Right.
We have almost a full decade. She's got almost a full decade. Now,
Right.
again, Taylor Swift is absolutely like, she is right on the heels. She is right behind Beyonce. I will not ever take that from her. And it's also more accepted the genre jump that Taylor made versus Beyonce's. And just to be clear, Beyonce jumps genres. Okay.
Right.
Pop and country, they often overlap in this day and age.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, so let's not get it twisted. Like you said, there's
Yeah.
no competition where you can't compare. Okay.
And
Go ahead.
and with Cowboy Carter, that is like it's a little bit of pop. It's mostly
Mm-hmm.
country. It has a lot of hip hop influences, which is
Mm-hmm.
why they're mad
It is.
because it's urban.
Mm-hmm.
Um, rock elements. Yaya is
Yeah.
classic '60s
Mm-hmm.
rock. Like
Exactly.
that's the rock of the great America, as people
Mm-hmm.
say. Like,
Yeah.
and then even like we said earlier with the history that Cowboy Carter has put on the forefront. Because
Mm-hmm.
personally, I'm not ashamed to admit I had never heard of Linda Martell
Mm-hmm.
until Cowboy Carter.
Okay.
To which I did a deep dive, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
another person that has been completely erased.
Mm-hmm. I think the issue is like we have to call a thing a thing. Like these people who are so opposed to Cowboy Carter, these people who are so opposed to Beyonce, they don't want us to know who Lyndon Martell is because they don't want that. They want the history to be erased. And
Right.
admitting that you have an issue with like history that are again
Right.
facts coming to light means you have to realize some inner work within oneself. And people don't want to listen to they want to so badly be like, I just don't like it. It's just not good. It just wasn't good. That's an
Right.
opinion. That's an opinion based fact. Okay. That is not a fact.
Because they can never tell you what's so bad about the album. I've
Right.
asked people, I'm like, what's bad about it? What song is bad? You can't say she sounds bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she has so many writers, and then you explain the sample thing. And I'm like, she's giving credit to the people that actually worked on these songs, unlike plenty of other artists who
Exactly.
sample and only
Mm-hmm.
put their name and the one or
Mm-hmm.
two other people that helped.
And you know what's funny is who is it? Mooney Long. She is a
Hmm.
songwriter. She was on TikTok and she was saying that how she was saying artists and songs that she has written that
Yeah.
no one knew that she was written. And she was talking about how, what was it? I think it was Flo Rida and Kesha. That what
Yeah.
is that song they have together? She wrote it and she sung it.
Timber.
Yes, that song. And they told her, we want you to sing on the song because she being Kesha, can't sound like you can't get to where you are. Listen, here's the thing. I know, and I'm not blaming Kesha for this. Who knows what she knew? You know, Kesha has spoken widely out about the music industry and everything like that. Oh, there's so many things going on behind the scenes, blah, blah. But that is also a huge issue, is people not knowing that, you know, this song was written by this person and all of these other things. Oh, we're frozen. Yeah, part of the issue is that people they don't want this history to be brought up. They don't because it then they have to question within themselves. And listen, I like J Lo. Okay, I J Lo has I liked J Lo. J Lo has had a few songs in the past that I'm like, oh, I like that. I fully understand the controversy when it comes to J Lo, right? And
Yeah.
same thing for like I said, Mooney Long, you know, came out and said that she actually wrote and recorded Timber, but then they kind of got her in to record background vocals under the guise of that she was singing on it because Kesha could not hit the note. The
Which is crazy.
what? Yeah. So, and Mooney Long herself, she was like, I was tricked, right? And she said, she was like, so many
Yeah.
record labels, so many of these record people have had to pay me out big lump sums of money because they wanted to play in my face. They wanted to have my voice, but somebody else's face, a white person's face. And that's just the truth. And people are questioning her experience. And it's like, no.
And I don't understand how many times people need to be told about
Yeah.
that happening. Like, remember that scene of Dreamgirls when that happens and they steal
Yeah.
Cadillac car from them?
Yeah.
I'm like, this has been a thing. Like, we all know that happens. And that's why, with like, not to be political, but like, even with DEI, I feel like we should make people say diversity, equity, and
Yeah.
inclusion. That's what you're angry about,
It
not
is.
DEI, because what is that?
Exactly.
Say the acronym.
Yep, I
Put
100%
your
agree.
cards on forefront.
Yeah, you have a problem with the words diversity, equity, and inclusion. And when it comes to it, a lot of people don't think the word diversity, they don't think that it applies to them. And I'm like, oh, do I have news for you? Like it does.
Because
It,
look at the statistics.
it actually does.
Who benefits from it?
Exactly. But yeah, so you know, of course, as when Beyonce does anything, wins anything. And that's another thing. The Recording Academy said it, she wins too much. And people are saying it. Well, she wins. She has this, she has this, she has this. Why does she need this? It's not about a need. It's she deserves it. She's earned it. She has earned all of her
Right.
accolades. You know what I mean? And I think that's my issue
Right.
with a lot of um like the talks and music and the fandom because even did you see like those reporters who were interviewing Babyface and then Chappell Roan passed
Oh my
by.
gosh.
Honestly,
I can't believe that happened.
I don't care if they were talking to someone's assistant. I don't care if they were talking to the janitor. That was so rude. That was so
So rude.
rude to do in
Yeah.
general. I was like, you are conducting an interview. You are working. And this is the person you're supposed to be talking to right now with Babyface. And then you see that's how you interrupt? Oh my God.
They've ruined their careers
Oh,
because
100%.
there's absolutely no way. Even like all these talk show hosts are not complete fans of who's on their like
Right,
shows.
right.
But you don't act like that's the lack of professionalism,
Mm-hmm.
decorum, class, tact, whatever you can call it. Because once again, I feel like we've normalized so much that people think it's okay to act like that. You're at work.
Yeah.
If you were, you're not just there filming because you want to be there. You're working. You're on the clock.
A
Smiling
hundred
baby
percent.
faces, face, and then you kind of let the conversation die down, and then you try to get Chapel's attention because they say that there was like a cue, so you were gonna get to her eventually anyway.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, because it was AP Entertainment, like you were going to get that interview. Like you really
Right,
were. You just actually fangirled out so bad that you could not contain yourself. And it came out as you being unprofessional. Like Babyface, and again, people were like, well, I don't know who Babyface is. You don't know who he is. You don't know who he is.
right.
That does not take away from him. That does not take away from his accolades. And I promise you, if you don't know who Babyface is, you know
You've
a
heard.
body of, yep, you have heard, listened to, loved
Mm-hmm.
a body of work that he has either written, produced, been a part of. So you may not know who he is, but
Right.
he is somebody. He is deserved to be there. And everybody is deserved of respect, right? Like
But
they,
then, and that goes into that conversation as well. Like, just because you don't know who somebody, people
mm-hmm,
have gotten to this like ideology of being the center of everything. Like, there's plenty of country artists
right.
that I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. If somebody's like, "Oh, this is Lainey Wilson" because she was at the Grammys last
Yeah.
night, I'm still gonna be like, "Oh, okay, X amount of albums." I would be respectful of being in her presence.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, hey, Lainey, Sabrina Carpenter's behind you. Let you
Right. Hey,
get over."
girl. Yeah. Hey, girl. So cute. Anyway, Sabrina, exactly. And then that's why I said too, because I guess they panned over. And listen, I'm of the belief of like, let people have their moments. People can be bummed and everything like that. I think Casey Musgraves was in the country album category with Beyonce. And when
Right.
she didn't win, when Beyonce won, her face was, I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt as somebody who's like face can do whatever. People can be bummed that they didn't win, right? Also,
Right.
her face was like a little questionable. She didn't do anything outwardly rude to me. Like she was just like
Hmm.
probably grieving for herself,
Yeah.
whatever. But at the same time, people who are strictly Casey Musgraves fans and don't listen to Beyonce are like, oh, well, blah, blah. As somebody who is actually, I like Casey Musgraves and I like Beyonce and I listened to both of their
Yeah.
albums. Love Casey Down. That was not her best body of work. And honestly, like she released that album and I listened to it and I forgot. You know what I mean? Like I forgot about
Yeah.
it. There's a couple songs on there that I really do like, but compared to
Yeah.
her other work, I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of lost in a Casey Musgraves shuffle of like when I go to listen to her albums or her music,
Yeah.
first one that I pull from.
And I mean, I see people that were upset about her face. Like you said, it's a mutual sadness because I feel like Billie Eilish looked sad when she lost Album of the Year, but like, you're not a guaranteed winner.
Right. And
Like, you should be grateful to be nominated. Like, your name is
yeah, next
um
to Beyonce.
right. And so many great albums have been released over the past like 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you you're up there, a part of history. I mean, it's an honor to be in the room. So
It
that's the
it
way I.
really is. I think, and listen, I liked that Billie Eilish album. Obviously, Birds of a Feather was everywhere. Lunch, all of them.
Hmm.
I don't. Well, no, I could. I think I'm not a huge Billie Eilish fan. I like her. I don't love her. I like
Yeah,
her.
that's
I'm.
understandable.
You know what I mean? With all the bodies of music that were nominated that came out last year, again, Billie Eilish was like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm listening to it. I like it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, I loved Sabrina Carpenter. Like that Short and Sweet album, I loved that album. It is so good to me. It is,
Coincidence?
yeah, yeah, it's, I just love it. Okay. And still,
Oh
you know
my
what I mean?
gosh.
Yeah, so it's one of those things.
Yeah.
A lot of great music came out. A lot of great music came out. It's just,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
With with Billy's album, I had to let it find me. Like I listened
Yeah.
to it and I liked Billie Eilish, but then I was like going through something and then like I started listening
Mm-hmm.
to the album and I was like, oh, okay. And then I like fell in love with it. And now I
Yeah.
can't get enough of it. But it's
Exactly.
definitely like the better songs on the album are not the hits.
Yes. Yeah,
Like
I
The
agree.
Hero is
Yeah.
amazing
Mm-hmm.
and
No, I agree.
bittersweet.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
No, I definitely agree. And I agree with what you said. Like I listened to it and I was like, oh. And then like you kind of start going through something, you get where you are you know, in your life, and then it's like, oh, like it
yeah,
sneaks up
yeah.
on you. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
for
You listen
sure.
to Miley Cyrus, any?
Yeah, no, I love Miley Cyrus. Yeah.
That's how I felt about Endless Summer Vacation. Now, in my
Hmm.
opinion, Miley does not release bad albums. I'm in Miley stan since '06. I remember the first time I saw her, like exactly where I was.
Hmm.
And like when I first heard Endless Summer Vacation, I was like, oh, this is such a stray from Plastic Hearts.
Hmm.
But I knew I was gonna love it. And same with that, I had to like listen to it and let it find me. Because I still don't feel like she promoted all the best songs. Like River should have absolutely been pushed to the moon.
Literally, Miley Cyrus, Endless Summer Vacation is such a good album, and it's I agree with you. I don't think she promoted it enough. Like we had Flowers, right? And then I feel like it was kind of
Yeah.
just like okay. But for me, that's not even the best song on the album. By far. And I
At
like
all.
that song. I like that song, right? But it's not even the best by
Hmm.
far. So I agree. And I'm a
At
Miley
all.
fan. You know, I always joke with people. I'm like, I understand Black community if y'all haven't forgiven Miley, but I I'm
I have.
I have, okay. I don't need her to do that shit again. Don't do that shit again.
I
But
mean,
that album isn't bad. Okay.
at all.
The antics
That
that went
album holds up.
around the antics that went around the album, like, but like 23, that song that in that time, oh, it wasn't bad.
And look, 23 fed me in middle school.
It,
Like, I don't know what it was. Something about and then SMF bangers.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
the best song on that album that gets paid dust is Rooting for My Baby. Like nobody
Yeah, that
talks
is a
about
good
that.
song.
Oh, I want
I
that song in my wedding. It's not even a fucking
and
wedding
see,
song.
that's the thing. That album came out when I was like 21. So I was just
Oh,
like being 21 and in the bars and stuff when I was like 21 or
oh,
22. When that shit dropped, I'm not gonna lie, it was a time. It was a time.
oh.
It was a time.
I
I
remember
can't
being
deny it.
so mad.
I can't deny it. I
My
really can't.
parents, me and like my friends wanted to go to the Bangers tour, and we were like 13. And all of our parents said, fuck no.
Yeah.
Like, and I was pissed. I was like, what the fuck? I'm a big Miley Cyrus fan, been a
Yeah.
fan my whole life, and you're going to tell me no? She's 20 minutes from me, and you're telling me no?
Yep.
Got older, and I watched the tour, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. It's
No is the right answer. Like,
exactly.
oh,
Exactly. I mean, I remember, but I was shocked thinking back on it now. And mind you, this is before, I think actually this was like a year, either a year before or right before, you know, Chris Brown and Rihanna. But I got to go to the Chris Brown concert from that first or second, no, it was the second album. Whatever, one of those. And this is right again,
hmm.
right before the him and Rihanna thing happened, and we started learning about who Chris Brown was. And I remember being at that concert and like, let's not be dense. I was like 16, 15 or 16. So like
Yeah.
I knew what he was doing. And I just remember my dad was like, because he had to take us to the concert. He was not happy. He was
Was,
like, mm.
oof.
He was on that thing and like humping the ground and stuff. And my dad was just like, Really. And I remember him and my mom got into an argument about it. My mom was like, "It's fine, it's fine."
Oh, you got to see wall to wall live though.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm jealous.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What a time. Yeah. But okay, off of the Grammys, moving into Bravo. I feel like last week Bravo was a freaking mess. This
It
week,
was.
we are kind of coming off of the heels of the mess.
Hmm.
First things first, actually, I know I didn't say we were going to talk about New York, but I do want to touch on New York a little bit because we got the first part of the reunion. I am so, so, so exhausted of Bryn already.
Yeah.
One, the girl cannot read unless it's rehearsed. Like
Right.
she cannot, if things don't play out the way she thought they would go in her head, she can't take it, right?
Right.
So that's one thing. And two, like you can really, really see how the tears are starting and stopping.
Right. She's conjuring them up and sitting there
Mm-hmm.
doing everything that she accuses Justful of doing.
Yep, yep.
Because I'm like, you're on this show playing housewife.
Uh-huh.
Because the woman that you appear to be off camera is, and what people like describe you as, is not who you present yourself as. Because you couldn't even get into a light read off with Sai.
No, literally when Sai was like, I still don't know what it is, what you do. She literally was like, and you could see her thinking. She's one of those
Mhm.
people that you can see thinking. And
Yeah.
then she's like, I do what you do. Right. We're on this show together. We are on this show together, correct.
Right.
But you still didn't answer the question. And for me, if I were Bryn, I would be like, I'm putting this shit to bed right now. This is what I
Mhm.
do to spell it out for you. Because yeah, she's in like marketing and PR and some, but I would be like, this is exactly what I do, so y'all can shut up. We can put it to bed. I'm not talking about it anymore. Right? Just
At all.
clear the storyline right then
Right.
and there. Because no, and the thing that's irritating me as well is that no one even, and I'm not a Jeff Lewis fan. I'm really not.
Yeah, he talks too much.
He is so messy. But Jeff
Yeah.
didn't say she was a call girl. He didn't say she was a sex worker. He said, do you think her life is being supplemented? Do you think she has help?
And even with that, now this if this is crazy and misogynistic, clock me on that. But that's the way she's portraying herself.
No,
And I feel
100%.
like all the other women on the show have portrayed themselves as dignified or like in a certain manner.
Mm-hmm.
None of the other girls have ever gotten that accusation. Bryn has flirted with people's husbands,
Mm-hmm.
flirted with people's fathers.
Mm-hmm.
She made jokes about poking holes in condoms. This is
Mm-hmm.
how you're portraying yourself.
Yeah.
And you've built this Sims character of a housewife,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what you've done. Samantha Jones, is that's who you're
Yeah.
portraying yourself as. You got to live with the Samantha Jones accusations and feed pushback.
And here's the thing, like this is where I get sticky because I'm like my beliefs. I'm like, and women can portray themselves, can make jokes and whatever as much as they want, right? But at the
Yeah.
same time, you are correct. Like you make all of these condom poking jokes, these, oh, I'll date your dad, I'll become stepmother jokes.
Right.
And then when people are like, well, hold up, girl. And you've had three fiancés and you've never wanted to marry these men and blah, blah. What's going on? I'm not
Oh,
calling
what's
you a
going on?
whore. I'm just wondering what the fuck is going on.
Right.
Right? And I think she also said like everything is a personal dig to her. Seems like one of those people that is exhausting to talk to, just like she did with the Rebecca Minkoff thing,
Yeah.
where Rebecca was like, I would rather like sleep by myself because I have four kids at home and I never get a moment by
And
myself.
she was purposely misunderstanding that
Oh,
lady.
100%. And I cannot stand when I see somebody purposefully misunderstanding. No one talked about you having a kid. They just said it
Right.
is factual. I say all the time, I'm tired. I work very hard.
Right.
I say all the time when I get done with a long, hard day of work, I have no clue how I would do this if I had children.
And then she compared her dogs. And I love dogs. I'm a big dog guy.
So am I. I
But
have freaking three.
you can't compare dogs to human
No.
children.
No, you can leave them at home. You
Like,
put them in a cage and leave them at home. Like,
right, you can't do that with kids.
yeah, you
I
cannot.
mean,
It's
and then
she
to say
wants to
that in a
be
room full, now,
of mothers, yeah. Yeah. To say
yeah,
that in a room full of mothers,
and
like
that's the first questionable thing.
girl. And the fact that nobody like seemingly
Oh,
checks her, even when she is getting checked, it's coming from a place of like, oh, well, you don't know because you're just a little sensitive baby. No, no. She is well aware
no,
of what she's doing all the time. Even when she was talking to Uba and
right.
she was like, Uba, you can't say that you think that I meant the angry black woman comment. Why can't I say that? Actually, I can
Now,
say that. I can say that that's what I thought you meant because it's what you said. Don't tell me what I
it's
can't
what she
say.
meant. It's a thousand
It
percent what she meant.
it is 100% what
And
you meant.
she, I have seen people say that she is not truly mixed with anything. And I don't want to say that because I have a cousin that is very similar to how she
Hmm.
looks, and that's fully black.
Yeah.
We come in different shades.
Yeah.
But to sit there as a white passing black woman in
Hmm.
a room full of three other black women,
Hmm.
right? Because even though Sai and Raquel are mixed with Puerto Rican, they present as black women.
Yeah.
That's how most people treat them. And for you to say, "Oh, as a black woman, I'm being put down," da, 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 absolutely
Oh
not.
my God. When she was like, I identify as a black woman, I'm not gonna lie, like I got very upset. Like I because you you have to understand that you look white. When I first saw, I'm
Right.
not gonna lie, when I first saw Bryn, I did not think that she was black.
Me either.
I did not think she was black. And like to your point, I have my brother is lighter than me, a good deal lighter than me. We come in all different shapes or shapes, so all different shades. And like my nana, very much so lighter than me. Like so I totally understand.
Yeah.
But she like Bryn, you do not have the black experience. And I've said this on this podcast before, I've said it on TikTok before. Bryn thinks because she grew up the way that she grew up and as like you know, less than fortunate mixed girl in Indiana, that
Hmm.
it gives her a right to be like, oh, as a black woman, I identify as a black woman. You and Uba have two way different experiences when you walk down the street. Same thing as you and
Yeah.
Raquel, same thing as you and Sai. Because when I look at Sai and Raquel, I can tell that they're mixed too. You know,
Yeah.
I can tell that they have black in them.
And she equates being black with struggling. In the clip
Mhm.
they
She does,
released
exactly.
from next week, she goes, "Oh, the struggle is a black woman." And Uber says, "I haven't struggled as a black woman."
Hmm.
She's like, "I get things for free. What do you mean struggle?" And yes, that's the whole monolith thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, you hate your blackness, and
Hmm.
you have done everything to erase any stereotypes
Hmm.
that have been put on black women, and you have tried on camera multiple times to pass that on to Uba. Because what do you mean Uba has to change herself and play this character to stay with this white man?
Yeah. And you know what? Somebody pointed this out last season that even when Bryn talks about her parents, that because her mom was white and her dad was black, she even the way she explains it is she says, dad was older than mom. He was into drugs. He got mom into drugs and he got mom to do this and he got mom. She takes it because, and I'm sure because Mimi or whatever, that was her mom's mom. I am sure, I have no doubt in my mind, that Bryn grew up hearing these things,
Yeah.
right? From her white side of the family. Oh, he got her into that. He did this. He did this. He did that. He was always painted out to be bad. And like you said, she does equate being black to struggling. She absolutely does.
Mm-hmm.
And she does not, she is such a textbook case of like growing up around like your surroundings, hearing what
Yeah.
you heard growing up, and like that is what you pass on. I can see it in her, like from almost every single thing that she does. Every single thing that she does. It is
Yeah.
insane to me. And I'm starting to see the tides change of people being like, Bryn needs help. Bryn needs help. That's not a question. That is a fact. Bryn absolutely needs help, but she does not. I'm not giving Bryn any grace. I'm
at
not
all.
giving Bryn
Because
any fucking grace.
to sit there and to craft such a vicious lie, and then
Hmm.
to prove that Uber did not know, you don't have that type of visceral reaction
Yeah.
if you're faking. For Uber to react
Hmm.
the way she did told me all I needed to know. And
Hmm.
for you to sit there and to manipulate all these women, you knew that Jenna was already getting tired of Uber,
Hmm.
that
Yep.
Raquel was at her wits' end. She was already upset with Justified because how
Yeah.
dare you come to Puerto
Oh, a
Rico
hundred percent.
knowing everything that and still double down on it and go, oh, the Puerto Rican girls are ganging up on me, like
Yeah.
insane. You knew that Raquel was pissed at Uber, but
Hmm.
for you to go so well, that's Phaedra Park's level
It
of disgusting.
It is, it's so manipulative. Bryn is so manipulative. That's why when people are like, oh, I have empathy for her and blah, blah, it gives me a visceral reaction because I don't think that Uba hasn't gotten that amount of empathy, and she was the one that's being accused of knowing this thing and
Mm-mm.
saying it. And even the thing from the beginning, I said it last week on this podcast, I was irritated with Bryn because I'm like, Bryn, she didn't say you sucked dick. She did not say that. She didn't say you did that to get this job. And
Right.
she kept saying you need to apologize for that. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
apologizing for that because that's not what I said. And I think I kind of understood
Right.
what Uba was trying to say, like when she was like, tell me what you want me to apologize for, because I've had those interactions with people where I know what I said, but I want to hear what you think that
Mm-hmm.
I said and what you think I owe you an apology for, so we can get to the bottom of this.
Right.
And they have
Yeah.
the fortunate fortunate to have a camera in front of them. I did not, right? So it's like
Right.
I know I didn't say that, but you keep telling me that I said
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? It's just it's exhausting. I'm glad this reunion is only two parts because I don't want to have to keep doing this. It's disturbing to me. It is disturbing to me how she twists things. And I'm not a big fan of Rebecca Minkoff. Like, well, let me run that back. The Scientology of it all. Her little comments of like being like calling Scientology a cult is a bigoted term. Girl, stop. Hard stop.
Yeah.
Okay. You getting beside yourself. However, what she said in the preview, and she said what she said about like Bryn um talking about her business and stuff like that, I'm right there with her because you are
Yeah.
all about work, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. You just tried to diss size job by saying I do what you do, right? Rebecca Minkoff is a designer and she's in Nordstrom. That's a big deal for any designer. Whether it's and just
Right.
mind you, I used to work for Nordstrom. You don't get into Nordstrom Rack, but not Nordstrom. If you're in Nordstrom Rack, you've been
Right.
in Nordstrom. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That is a huge department store. So
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
it like Brand, where are your bags? Where have you designed anything? Like I don't care if the girl was in TJ Maxx, honestly. That's a big deal to get your stuff picked up and
Right.
for it to be in a store.
Because who was Brent Whitfield before last season?
Yeah, exactly. And she
The
even
only
go ahead.
the only one I knew was Jenna Lyons, and I'm not like a big fashion guy, but like,
Yeah, I knew who she was too, yeah.
but other than that, there's been nobody else on there I knew.
Mm-mm. No, no, I didn't know who any of them were either. And like again, like it's just like Bryn, you at what point do you stop? Even when she was crying, she's like, I just want to give Uba a hug. I just want to like this is learned behavior. It's scary. She
And
is scary to me.
this is a crazy take, but like, why I don't like those tears and that performative because so many people have been
Hmm.
harmed
Yep, yep.
because of white woman tears like
No,
that.
I'm right there with you. I am right there with you.
And her turning them on and then turning them on. I'm like, that it
Hmm.
unnerved me to my core.
Same,
And I was like, I don't want her on here anymore.
same.
I was at first I was like, okay, well maybe she's like in the same vein of Lisa Barlow for most of the season. I was like, okay, she's antagonistic, like, but she leaves you with an opinion,
Hmm.
so maybe she's good for the show in that way. But no, I'm
Yeah.
like, you're dangerous and you can
Yep.
lie with a straight face and cry and work up emotion.
Hmm.
Chop.
I
You're it.
agree. I no, I agree. I have those feelings about Bryn as well. Like people have been harmed, people's lives have been ruined for like over that right there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lisa Barlow, let's hop on over to Salt Lake City.
Oh,
We
let's
had
go.
the second part of the reunion, which for me was better than the first part. Listen, here's my
Mhm.
thing with Lisa Barlow. I mean, and anybody who listens to my show, follows me on TikTok, knows how I feel about her. She just cannot let anybody else get a word in edgewise, right? She thinks that she proves all of these points that for me, I am like, no. Bronwyn had a good first season housewife. She wasn't
Absolutely.
great. But she had a good first season. She had a better first part of the season. Towards the end, it was like we're on shaky ground.
Yeah.
However, it is actually so insane to for Lisa to have gotten onto Twitter and compared Bronwyn to Jen Shaw. Again,
Oh,
that is, and
the
I said this, I think on threads, the best and worst thing to happen on Salt Lake City for those housewives was Jen getting arrested. Best
yeah.
because it was unprecedented. We had never seen anything like that before. Worst because now anytime one of those housewives is beefing with somebody else and wants to weaponize a fandom and wants to sway anything, they are going to hit the Jen Shaw button.
And I'll raise that with them getting Monica off the show as well. I
Yep.
think that has empowered all the
Mm-hmm.
OGs on this
Mm-hmm.
franchise
I
to
agree.
think they can chop anybody.
I agree.
Because if you notice, I felt like that's what they were trying to do with Bronwyn. And to me, Bronwyn's second half flop, as people like to say, is because she was being real. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, her allegiance is more with Lisa. That's who she knew. She thought
Yeah.
they were friends.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I put anybody else on here above my friend of like what 10 plus years, right?
100%. And who is my gateway to this show? One of my two of my podcasting friends, Taria and Chai, shout out to them. They made an amazing analogy that because I tune Lisa Barlow out. I really do. But they said so Lisa says I do. Lisa says that she met Bronwyn in Nordstrom and that she was like, "Oh my God, who is this? I need to be friends with her." Right? So in a sense, she looked up to her. She was
Yeah.
like, she's buying all this, she's fabulous. She's like, who is this? And she says that Bronwyn kind of paid her dust because I guess Lisa was like in leggings or whatever that day. And it was like, but then they became friends.
Mhm.
Chai and Taria said that the show is Lisa's Nordstrom moment. And now it was her way to flip the script. It's like, oh, when I first met you, you were looking at me and you thought I looked crazy and blah, blah. And now you're coming onto my territory and I'm going to show you how this is done. Yeah,
Yeah.
I said, oh shit. Because
Mhm.
Lisa Barlow is like that. And we know that Lisa is the kind of the reason that we have Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She knew the production company. I think she kind of, or was it Mary?
See, I heard it was Mary.
I heard
It
it
was
was,
it
I
was
heard it
Miss
was a
Mary
mix
and
of,
Cosby as well.
I heard it was a mix of both of them. Like I don't
I
100%
believe that.
know, but I heard it was a mix of both of them. But we know that Lisa is so rehearsed to me also. And again, to credit Chai
Yeah.
and Taria, people have given Lisa this icon status. But if you put Lisa up to the actual icons, can you imagine Lisa in a room with Vicky, Nene, even Sheree? Like, could you imagine?
Hell no. She would be eaten alive instantly.
She wouldn't be
Even
able to
against
see.
like imagine her on Beverly Hills
Right. Oh,
with
yeah.
Kyle Richards like after him.
Mm-hmm.
Hell no.
Dorit. Yeah.
Because Lisa's screaming, that's not gonna do anything. Calm down. Have a
She,
cookie. Sit
yes.
down.
she's amongst those women because she can kind of be like that. And honestly, not even really, because Whitney clocks her, Healing Journey clocks her, right? Mary will
No,
clock her.
yeah,
Mary ignores the fuck out of Lisa. She really does. But if and when
and
she
that's
needs
what
to clock
infuriates me.
in, it is. If and when she needs to clock in, she will, right? But can you imagine? Even I
Yeah,
would love to see Lisa Barlow in the same room as Tamra. Oh my
and
gosh.
especially like if Tamara started like getting into that mode that she gets
Oh
into,
yeah.
Tamara would
Or even any of the OG New York ladies, any like
Bethany
Ramona.
Frankel.
So, but Bethany would have Lisa up out of there after one season. And I'm not a
Yeah,
big Bethany fan, but my God, she would have Lisa ready to turn in her paperwork, and we would never see her again.
imagine her against Lisa Rinna. Lisa Rinna would make Lisa leave the show.
No, she would.
She couldn't handle Lisa Rinna
No, she wouldn't be able to.
or Kenya Moore. I'm just like fantasy booking, like
Oh, right, right.
Lisa versus.
They would look at
Oh,
her, they would really look at her like, who is this woman? Because we don't, I always argue, everybody on this podcast hears me say, what do we actually know about Lisa Barlow? What do we actually know about her? Nothing really. We do not. She is trying to take a
she goes to
play.
Wendy's.
Yeah, she loves a 32-ounce
She
Diet
likes
Coke.
that.
Exactly.
Mhm, that's personal.
She tries to play from the Kyle Richards playbook, which is dangle a carrot, give them a little bit, but not too much. So these people don't actually know. So when it comes time, you can deny, deny,
Right.
deny. Right? Kyle, when Sutton was like, you had
Yeah.
infidelity. No, I didn't. Because Kyle never
What?
actually said,
What are you talking about?
what are you talking about? Kyle never actually said Mauricio cheated on me. She did not say that. She said Instagram and my trust was broken. That's what she said.
And that's why she gets so angry with Sutton because Sutton will call out. Sutton sat down at that table. She said, "Why are we here? You can't control Sutton's track."
You really can't. And I'm not even a big Sutton fan, but I like her for stuff like that. She could
Mm-hmm.
walked in last, okay, and sat down and
Right.
said, "Let's get to it. Why are we here?" Because I agree. What is really being said amongst the wives, the housewives that are upset that Kyle stormed out, is because it's a production thing. You essentially walked out on your
Yeah.
job, right? You kind of
Yeah.
held up filming a little bit, and you broke the fourth wall. Fourth wall breaks are not they're not groundbreaking anymore by any means, but they're still not, they don't want you to do them. And Kyle did
Right.
that over a text message. And
That
the
new.
main Kyle is the main one that when people have done that in the past, and when she tries to hold their feet to the fire and be like, I can't believe you did that. How unprofessional, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
What? Like,
She knew how
no.
that text looked.
She did. And that's
She
again,
knew.
I'm gonna take it all the way back to the boat. She she knew when she told Garcelle, PK texts me. You didn't tell Garcelle that
Mm-hmm.
offline. You didn't tell her that not with the cameras around. You told her that on camera. I still think that
Yeah.
I think that Kyle was planning on coming at Dorit in the sense of like, even you're so wrong, honey. Even your ex-husband texts me and blah blah blah. I think that was the game that Kyle was trying to play. Was, oh, I know so and
Yeah.
so. Kyle does the Lisa Barlow does Kyle, but Kyle is sneakier with it. She's the sniper from the side,
Yeah.
right? Lisa will just sit down at the reunion and say, I'm friends with Emma, and she said nothing was purchased. And it's like, bitch, you can't, now you done probably got Emma in trouble. Okay. Like you cannot just sit here and say things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Kyle says, PK texts me still, but then she says it's just memes and jokes. And then it's, well, nothing was actually said in this text message. Like, all I said is I'll always be there for you. And I've never repeated anything. And then it's, but what I meant was this. What I meant was production. And Garcelle is right. If you meant production in the text message, why didn't you just say production?
Right. And production likes to laugh too.
No.
Like, so what are you hiding?
Yeah.
And
And
then, like Reese said, They were friends, so he would go over there after
Mm-hmm.
being set. They'd all say stuff
Mm-hmm.
naturally,
Yep.
but you're lying, and it's making yourself look worse. Like Bo said, you made
Yeah.
yourself look like a fool.
I just one, she made herself look like a fool. But again, you read the text in Chuck E. Cheese to you told first of all, again, taking it back to the boat. You told Garcelle about the communications in general. One, two. Then you read the text in Chuck E. Cheese to three different women that were not Dorit with the cameras around. Y'all were
Mm,
not having a pizza night at your house with no cameras around. You said that on camera to three different women. So of course, and then to say, well, Garcelle,
yep.
when I hear that you told Bose that I read the text, why does it matter? It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
and
that
you told your co-producer because,
you hello.
like, you knew what she was going because you like she thought she was going to tell Sutton,
Mm-hmm.
and then you thought Sutton was going to be the one to
Mm-hmm.
start carrying the bone, so you can attack Sutton, which would parlay into Dorit.
Mm-hmm.
But Bose found out,
Exactly. And Bose
and you're not going to puff your chest up at that lady. Like, you're just
Bose
not going to
plays
do
a
that.
good game. Bose plays a better game than what Kyle is used to because Kyle is also used to the newbies coming in and wanting to flock to her because she is the OG, right? That's kind of what happened with Anne Marie last year as well. Along with the fact that Anne Marie just wasn't a good housewife. Anne Marie played
At all.
right into Kyle's hand, which is what got her up off that show. That's it and
Yep.
that's all. She wants to say it's because I was too woke and I my beliefs. First of all, your beliefs are ignorant. They are harmful, just to be clear. But you were not entertaining.
Yeah.
We didn't even meet you until like episode 6. And then you wanted to talk about Sutton's esophagus when that wasn't even Sutton wasn't having Sutton's health issue was not a part of her storyline.
At all. She said that flippantly, and you tried to run with it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And even with the beliefs with Anne Marie, I thought about it, and I'm like, I like seeing people that prove that black people aren't a monolith. So I was
Yeah.
all down with like a Republican black representation because I'm like, a lot of black people, had it not be for racism, would be openly Republican.
Yeah, they would. They would.
So let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how she plans out. We didn't get any of that. They completely gave her the friend of edit. I was surprised she even got a diamond. And
Yeah.
then on the trip, what did she do but rehash an issue from her only other 30 seconds on screen? I do miss Crystal, though. I will say that.
I
I think Crystal.
I you know, I'm not gonna say I don't miss Crystal because I like Crystal. I wonder
Hmm,
I guess I do miss Crystal because I would love to see how Crystal communicates with all of this uh Dorit, Kyle, Bose of it
hmm,
all. I would love to see how Crystal played into
yeah.
that. Yeah. Because I would like to know
I would hope
where. No, go ahead.
that Bose would empower her the same way she's empowered Dorit and give her that voice. Because I
Yeah.
think Bose, this is why I like their friendship, because Bose gives Dorit the confidence
Hmm.
to be authentically herself and not that character that she was playing to be friends with PK and to rub elbows with Kathy Hilton's and
Yeah.
Kyle's contact list.
Yeah.
This
100%.
is Dorit, whatever her maiden name.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what she's reading better. Like, people are like, oh, she's annoying. I'm like, no, she's being herself, which is nice. I was
No,
like, that girl's
yeah.
not meek and docile like that. Like, there's no way.
No,
And
she's
I'm glad
not.
she ate Erica up. Oh, she ate Erica
I
the fuck up.
Erica be trying to be so litigious about everything is post, the Tom Girardi scandal. He was stealing money from Erica people, like, or from people, Erica. Like, he was stealing money from
Mm,
people to fund your life, his life. And Erica, your response to it wasn't great. It was not
at
great. But
all.
her replies of like, I don't like the text messages. You need a warrant for that shit. Shut up. That's not true. And Kyle already read the text message
Right.
on camera. So no, we don't need a warrant for it. Just read it again.
Right. It's public information.
It is public information. Like I'm tired, and I'm glad that, like you said, I'm glad when they were in the spa when she was. I what I wanted Dorit to ask Erica was, if this were you and you were in my position, and this was you and Tom and Mauricio and Kyle, would you or would you not be looking at Kyle sideways for the communications with, and like, and the other thing that kills me too is what she's not saying is, again, I would love for her to have asked her, if Kyle said to you, I only talk to Tom, memes and jokes, memes and jokes, memes and jokes, and then you heard that text message, wouldn't you have pause? Like,
She would have wilded out on
mm-hmm,
Kyle like she
exactly,
did on Sutton.
exactly. And
You,
yep,
there's
yeah,
just absolutely no way that any person could hear that text and not immediately think, oh, this is about me. They're talking about me.
mm-hmm,
Why are you sending a grown ass man that's not your husband text and memes and jokes? What memes and jokes? Show them.
yeah. We like to
Because
laugh.
that's what I was expecting. I was expecting her to scroll up, TikTok links,
Yeah,
funny like production, housewife
mm-hmm,
memes, or whatever. No,
yeah.
you're talking to that man about Dorit, about other women, probably getting advice, which is fine if she had said that. Is
No,
that I do
100%.
PK as a friend, so I was keeping my relationship with him because I view you both as friends.
Mm-hmm.
But
And yeah,
when she showed that picture of Dorit kissing Mo's back, that to me is when she revealed her hand. You're
it
getting
was.
back at her because you did not like that shit.
Mm-hmm, it was.
You do not like that shit, and you are okay.
And not only did she not like it, it caused, I would be willing to bet it caused something in Kyle because of the rumors that we all know about PK, and how he may or may not have been around town and around other towns and around anywhere else. You know what I mean?
With Dorit on the passengers, allegedly.
Okay, like that. I bet
Allegedly.
she did not like that. Now, I don't think that PK and Dorit, I don't think anything happened there, but I think because when you deal with infidelity or you deal with whispers about your significant other all the time, when it starts bleeding into somebody that you know
Mhm.
and that you're friends with, she didn't appreciate it, right? But also her, like Kyle's
Yeah.
just logic all around, being like, she never had a problem when we spoke before. You mean when both of you were married to your respective partners and neither one of you were going through divorce? What? Like, Kyle, you can't be this dense.
Right.
I know you're not this dense. Yeah, she didn't have a problem with you talking to him before because that, like, they were together and you and your husband were together. And mind you, PK is screaming at her in 4-hour therapy sessions. And like, let's call a thing. The money aspect. Like they have kids, they have assets that
Yeah.
need to be separated. All of this. Who knows what he is hiding? Kyle loves to tell us, I'm getting a separation or divorce, but it's not like you, Garcelle. It's not like you, Sutton. It's not like you, Dorit. Like Mauricio would never. And there is a law in California, like Erica said, he's
Oh,
trying to divorce her before 10 years. Kyle doesn't have to worry about that,
which
right?
is
Good for
wild.
her. Good for her. What, right? She doesn't have to worry about that. That's not
And
everybody's testimony.
at all. And then I don't understand the whole like, oh, this wouldn't happen to me. Same with Stacey on Potomac. The man you married is not the man you're divorcing. You're not
Hello?
divorcing your husband of 28 years.
Exactly.
You're divorcing a man who quickly moved out and got a condo,
Mm-hmm.
who quickly has started another life without you,
Who quickly took a
has
picture of
dated,
you
has
off
gone on
of,
TV
yep, took a
with
picture of you
in
off of his desk
your
and put
fucking
it up of a
home.
woman. Yeah.
In your fucking home. This motherfucker had a picture of another woman
Yeah.
in your home,
Yeah.
and you don't think that he is gonna fuck you over in a divorce?
And I agree with Sutton. It's about hiding
Somebody.
assets. It's about hiding assets. It's not necessarily because as somebody who's gone through or going through a divorce, you who you marry and who you divorce are two different people, right? And he because my ex-husband say the same thing about me because I am he had the not the bitch that he married whatsoever. But I'm not, right? But it's about, I think to Sutton's
Right.
point, it's about hiding the assets, right? So yes, Kyle, you know about A, B, C, and D. What about E, F, G, H, I, J, K? Right? I want, if we built this home, if we built this life together, which per Kyle they have, they could barely rub two pennies together when they first got married per her. And she is the link
Right.
to the Hiltons. Kyle is the link to the Hiltons.
Right.
Had she not been, he would have never, Mauricio would have never been in the room with Nick Hilton, or Nick, is it Nick? Rick Hilton to
Rick.
rub elbows with him and steal his clients. Right? So,
And the way that he did that to him should show you
mm-hmm.
the type of person that this man is capable of being.
Oh, 100%.
That's already,
100%.
yes, it's business, but that's in him. That's a
Mm-hmm.
part of that character.
Exactly. Even that because
If you
they
do it to
had
them, he'll do it to you.
exactly. And that's what my thing about Kyle. I'm like, you, and maybe, hey, if Kyle is fine with A, B, C, and D and don't want no cut of the rest of the outfit, girl, fine. I don't, couldn't be me. Couldn't
Because
be
A, B,
me.
C, and D is still millions of
It
dollars.
is, but
Like,
everything acquired within this marriage, we're gonna go down a half. So I will be getting a forensic
mhm.
accountant. Okay. And this is no love loss. This is the business end. One thing my mom always told me about marriage, divorce, relationships is there is, yes, love and affection and all that is all good and well, but there's a business side. And this is business. The business is business and it needs to be handled.
Right.
It needs to
Yeah.
be handled. There is a business side to almost every relationship that, lives together and like intergrains their life. Marriage
Yeah.
is a business transaction. Let's not get it twisted.
Hmm.
Okay.
And
Now,
that's what
their kids, like, I
I
mean,
say
there's
people
no,
say that they don't even believe
mm-hmm,
that they're even getting a divorce, truly, because are they gonna just do the whole we're separated? Does
yeah.
California have the whole you have to be separated a certain amount of time before you can get married divorced, or you can just end
I
it?
don't think so. I don't think so. I know where I live it was like where I live it's 6 months. I think in Virginia it's a year per Ashley Darby. But I don't
It's a year here.
is it where are you at?
I'm in North Carolina.
Okay,
North
yeah.
Carolina,
Yeah, okay, yeah. There I
which is
know a lot of
crazy.
those eastern southern states it's like a year. You know what I mean? Like I said here in
Hmm.
Illinois it's Illinois St. Louis it's 6 months. But yeah, I don't know about California.
Would it be more beneficial for them to just stay together on paper and just move on? Which I could see them doing, and they
Mm,
work it out in a few months.
mm, mm. I like the finality. I like paper to, be I like things to assets to be split.
Yeah,
Like I like lives to be separated, just to be
I
so
agree.
clear.
Yeah,
I don't I
yeah,
mean I know a lot of people that do that and it works for them, but and I what for me, I'm like, Kyle, just because that works for you, God bless. You know what I mean? Good for you. That's not everybody's story. People
yeah.
trying to look out for you and say, like, you need to file, you need to beware of this, beware of that. There's nothing. She's like, oh, oh, I'm not like that. I don't have those. Okay, girl. And even if you
Because
don't,
why are
good
they
for
not listening to
you.
Sutton?
Good for you. Hello? Because I do not have 50 cents to get from my ex-husband, but if I would take divorce advice from Sutton.
Yeah, I would, and especially like the way she's getting. Now, yes, with Dorit, it because she doesn't like Dorit, so there was
Hmm.
a lot of like anger that came there. But I
Hmm.
feel like when she was talking to Kyle, that was her.
Hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
please go ahead and do this. I don't want to see you fuck over.
Oh, 100%. I think so too. No, I think so too. But yeah. Okay, we gotta go back to Salt Lake City because we worked back Salt Lake City and into Beverly Hills. But where I am just so annoyed. It is time for Meredith to be a friend of. It's time for Meredith to be a friend
I
of.
agree.
I that she's so upset and so activated at this reunion. I'm like, What are you doing? Why are you getting this upset about what Monica said? And oh, if you don't show that clip, I'm leaving. Oh, I didn't know we were making calls like that. I didn't know we were making calls like that. Like, and her husband,
I'd be
Seth,
surprised if
you
he's
said what?
sleazy.
You said be surprised if what?
I'd be surprised if Meredith is asked back at this point. Because Andy doesn't like productions and grandstands like
Yeah,
that.
that's
And
true.
I feel like Meredith. I originally season one when I saw Meredith, I thought she was gonna take like the nurturing,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of like grand dame
Mm-hmm.
role of the group. And as the seasons have progressed, I've just been more and more let down because I feel like she doesn't truly express the way she genuinely feels. I think her problem with Angie is solely wrapped up in Angie being close with Mary this season. I think that's exactly why she doesn't like Angie and is like really trying to do things that would make Mary dislike her character
Mm-hmm.
because she knows how to get at Mary. I don't know. Maybe I'm leaping bounds,
No,
but that's just the way
I
it
can
seems to me.
see that. I can see that. And her face, like when they were talking about Angie and Mary's friendship, it was very telling, I think, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I also, when she said she being Meredith, when she said Mary used her to get back, I said, no, baby. No, Meredith was just the only one that realized how it looked when they started going after Mary in her church. Like, oh,
Right.
all these white women are, in Salt Lake City,
Mm-hmm.
Utah, are trying to get the black woman to be an outcast. These Mormon women are trying to say that this black woman's church is a cult. Meredith's just the only one that had common sense to be like, wait a minute, we can't do this. We cannot do this.
And
Right?
even with the Jenny thing, people
Mm-hmm.
they've swept past Jenny, and I'm like, let's not forget that's a part of the reason that Mary left the show
Mm-hmm.
was because of the racism she endured
Mm-hmm.
with Jenny and how Jenny tried to attack her physically twice,
Yeah.
and the whole group essentially backed Jenny because they liked her,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And she didn't feel safe.
and that's
And
right, and
there
that's
were
another
multiple.
thing that
Yep. Go ahead.
that Meredith did to kind of like, oh, I protected you. This is when you
Mm-hmm.
used me, like you
Yep.
said.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't like that. Now, and just to be so clear, because I know how people get, Mary has made comments that were not, it was like, oh, Mary, that was not a good one. You should not have said that. Right.
Yeah.
I, there, she has had her moments. No one's saying that Mary has not. But when she said, "Oh, you use me," I said, "No, Meredith, you were trying to correct right or wrong because you understood how that looked." And again, Jenny
Mm-hmm.
physically went after Mary multiple times when Mary was like, "I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to engage with you. Like, I want you to get away
Yeah.
from me." There was glass throwing. There was no, ma'am. We not doing that.
And
We are.
because she's been erased, they don't bring that up. And I
Mhm.
and I get maybe Mary doesn't want to bring that back up because she's trying to move forward.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
that's a big reason that the walls are there. And
A
with
hundred
for Lisa
percent.
specifically, because Lisa was Team Jenny to the core
Oh yeah.
after all of that. And talking about
Oh,
Jenny should come back. In what world should Jenny come back on the show?
no, 100%. And even I wonder because I wonder if Mary gets those vibes from Brittany as well. Because I'm not gonna lie, I do. I don't or not Jenny. For me, Brittany is too in on the joke. She's an actress, right? She's a Broadway actress. I can very much so see her turn it on. And I think that's what at first I thought was funny because she's like filming this like we're filming a soap opera.
Yeah.
Like at that breakfast at Tiffany's, she's like, guys, what about me? She's like, well, wait a minute. I thought I was supposed to have some lines here. And that's like kind of funny, right? But because of
Yeah.
the Monica of it all, because of the not even the Monica, they swear up and down, these women swear up and down, we shouldn't be communicating with, bloggers and things like that. To let Brittany off the hook for recording on the bus multiple times and then
Insane.
lying about it. She was caught in her lies. She lied about it multiple
Yeah.
times. To let her off the hook is
Yep.
nuts to me. It's insane.
And to have so much, 'cause that's in front of your face. Because who was she sending that to?
Exactly.
What's like the recording in front of your face is no different than anything that Monica did. Because all the Monica stuff was rumors, and she was just a part of a group.
I still
So
believe, I
truly,
do believe that it was a part of a group that was which one of those people was Meredith, or not Meredith, Heather's hairdresser.
right.
It was, and that's admitted,
I
it was
feel like
Heather's hairdresser.
Monica. I think she messed up by not even just faking remorse. If
Yeah.
she would have gotten that reunion and said, I apologize for taking a part of the page that
Mm-hmm.
said so much
Mm-hmm.
against you guys, but the page was attacking Ginger, we decided to start attacking the women so it wouldn't be so easy to pinpoint. It just would
Mm-hmm.
blend in with other blog pages.
Yeah.
And I apologize for hurting you now that I get to know you as people.
No, I agree.
That's all she would have had to say. Then she would be sitting there with the snowflake season
Mm-hmm.
5.
No,
Let's just go with that.
100%, I
But
100% agree. Her lack of remorse and her lack of, like, Monica is clearly a blamer. Like, she'll do something wrong, but she'll be like, oh, but it's this, and this, and like roping it in, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, but so yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, Brittany, and then not only that, it is like an open secret that Lisa Barlow texts and messages people online that are fans with her. Like, people talk about that.
which which is insane
It
that
is.
she would even be mad at anybody doing that. You
People,
act insane with Meredith.
yeah.
Meredith competes and talks to blogs and sends shit. So I that's why I was and still I'm like, you're not that mad at the reality Von Tease of it. That's a little bit of that prejudice shit. You can't
Yeah.
have too many women of color. If you have a Latina woman, a black woman, how many more can we take? We're gonna start looking like Atlanta.
No, but
Like
seriously, because that's what I'm like, I said, I had another another TikToker on this show last week. He was like, yeah, Lisa told me this. She told me about the necklace already. I knew it. There's another Bravo
what?
podcaster. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
there's another guy who I don't know. He just said it in his, like, he said on his TikTok video, Lisa Barlow messaged me. We had a nice little chat. She told me about this, that. These people are saying, like I said, it's an open secret, right? There's another Bravo account that, like, goes after Bronwyn that literally has Lisa's phone number and texts her. So, like,
Leave Bronwyn alone.
what are we doing? Like, why is it not, like, we want to talk about Whitney and Meredith talking to Up and Adam, right? Which I think they shouldn't be talking to, anybody either, not Up and Adam, but just
Right.
like anybody either. But Lisa has these people's numbers. It's a known fact, and it's fine, but it's because she'll be like, "Oh, that's my friend. That's my friend." It's like, okay.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and everybody's starting to compare it to New Jersey already, because New Jersey had that bad too. New Jersey was always talking to fan accounts, bloggers, stuff like that, and now everybody got two in the mix. And now where's Jersey? Now where's Jersey?
Ugh,
Not
that
filming.
hurts. Teresa needs to be back on a screen instantly.
Not if you ask me. Not if you
Oh,
ask
are you a
me.
Melissa fan?
No, I'm not. I'm not
Oh,
an either fan. I think it is so sad that that family cannot get it together, and
I agree.
because the reasons are not that big once it gets down to it. They're not that huge. I don't feel like
Yeah.
to that family should be ripped apart. Their parents are gone. I can't, and I think there's blame on both sides. To
Yeah.
they each of them have taken part in ripping the each other apart, all for a TV show. I hate it. I
Yeah.
hate it. I
What I
really
hope
do.
is Joe and Teresa can eventually, because I think if they resolve it, Melissa will eventually have no choice but
Yeah.
to kind of like fall in line, so to, with, for lack of a better term.
I don't see, and here's the thing. I don't think because I think of last season, not this past season of Jersey, but the one where the wedding was leading up to it. Teresa and Melissa have these moments of like where I can see the relationship and I can see it, and I feel like I'm sorry, I think Joe is the messy one. I think Joe is the messy one. And Melissa kind of falls in line. So, like you said, I
Mm.
think that whatever Joe is doing, Melissa is just like, I'm going to fall in line with it. I do wish that she would, because I can't stand Joe. I think, I can't stand Joe. I just wish that I wish that Melissa and Teresa could vow to each other as the women to like make sure, and as two women who work together, that no matter what side we each fall on, we're not going to they're going to set their boundaries and they're going to all stick to them. Now they have set
Yeah,
boundaries before and both of them have crossed them because of the sides. New Jersey is too divided. It's a mess. It's a freaking
yeah,
mess. You know what I mean? So I hate that we got here over a TV show when it comes to the Judy Chase.
yeah. When you remember that they're real people and not characters, yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. I also think that I worry for Teresa. I really do. Um, because she trusts the wrong people.
Yeah,
She trusts the wrong people. She's an adult I worry about.
yeah, she needs to be coached through some things
Mm-hmm.
because,
Yeah, she's very my man, my man, my man when she's got one, which is how she ended up in jail.
and this new man, I don't know if I would trust him this far.
No, no. Even when things have come out about him and she's clearly wasn't aware and was embarrassed by, before I stopped watching that last season, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he did something that she clearly was like not down with.
With Margaret's son texting him,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
insane. That's
Yeah,
what I
like
was like. You're defending that?
I can see it in her, but she won't say it. Very, very loyal, very again, my man, my man, my man. We have to
Mhm.
be careful being loyal to these men. Mm-mm.
In the words of Kaya, you put your trust in a nigga. Stupid. How you
Stupid hoe, how
figure?
you figure? Okay, literally, literally.
Oh,
That's my thing with her. I worry about her, and I just Salt Lake City. I'm like this the fan with the fandoms. We're getting into that territory.
but who's the other like head? Like who's the Melissa? Because if Lisa
Oh, I
Barlow
don't think there's a Melissa. I don't think there's a Melissa in the equation over in Salt Lake City. I just meant like
no.
involving the fandoms. Lisa Barlow is, Heather is gonna always chase up behind her and want to be her friend.
Which is insane. I made a video saying that like I feel like the true head of Salt Lake City is Heather Gay. I will die on that hill. Heather Gay is the leader of Salt Lake City because look at the way when she started speaking and monologuing at that table, the group silenced and did everything that she told them to. She's the only woman that can, similar to like Nene Leakes used to be able to, can beef with every woman but can also rally the troops. Heather Gay can do that. When she speaks, they listen. She said we're gonna play this game. They did. When she starts like directly going after somebody, and when she's engaging in like uproar, the group is at like monstrous heights of vitriol and like villainy towards each other.
Mm.
When she's not, the group isn't.
I don't disagree.
I'll die on that hill.
I don't disagree. I just don't care for Heather. I think she's
Understand.
very produced. I really do. I think she's a producer pet, which is why I can see
Mhm.
what you're saying. I think she's easily swayed. I think she's easily manipulated. So she's a producer pet. So that's why
Yeah.
I kind of feel that way about her. I I don't know if any of those women necessarily have what it takes to be like a lead. And why I say, because I know some people be like, well, Mary is like a natural leader in life. Mary don't want to be the leader on the show. She does not want to
At
be.
all.
She's like, Oh no, I'll be here for fun, but I don't want to. I don't want to be.
Right.
I don't want to be involved in this shit like that. Mm-mm. Like you know what I mean? That Mary doesn't
Yeah.
want to be. She's happy being third seat. You know, I think Candy used to always say from
Yeah.
Atlanta, she'd be like, I don't want to sit next to Andy. I don't because like that means I had the most going on. That means I'm gonna be talked about the most at the reunion. She's like, I don't want to sit there. That's Mary. Uba said that too
Hmm.
when they asked her about the reading. She said, Andy, I do not want to sit by you. And look where you at, right by Andy, Uba. Right
Hmm.
by him. Okay. We did get an Atlanta trailer this past week. What did you think of it?
I, just to be frank, have been watching Atlanta my whole life since season
Hmm.
one. So
Hmm.
I'm biased. I
Yeah.
was extremely disappointed at first. Based off of the clips, it feels like something's missing. And maybe it's
Hmm.
because I'm always looking for Nene,
Yeah.
which I'm coming to terms with slowly.
I
I just I wasn't moved by it. Any of them, either of them. But I don't know.
I will say this. I'm cautiously optimistic. Um, I
Yeah.
think that Candy being gone will be good. I think that one thing I think about it is that like we have to get I'm a person who believes that housewives should not be allowed to have more than 5 to 6 consecutive seasons. I think after like the 5 or 6, they should may have to either go down a friend of or take a break because I think that's when we get like the in Beverly Hills, the Kyles, when people are coming in and they're like, oh, I want to be friends with this person and I want to be friends. We need to keep it fresh and we can still have OGs and stuff, but we need to constantly be incorporating people because then rifts get too ingrained, things become too kind of like permanent to where it's like, where do we
Yeah,
go back from here? You know what I mean? It's
I
like
agree.
how do we get back to where we should be from this? Because this is bad. Like, and that's kind of how we
Which is
got. Go ahead.
with that point, I'm beginning to be in the camp of maybe should we end all the legacy seasons slowly, like the Beverly Hills,
Hmm.
New York, Atlanta, and do start ushering in new cities because, like you said, the dynamics are so set in stone
Hmm.
on those shows. Like there's people who've been beefing 6, 7 years.
Yes.
Like if they make up, it's going to be fake. Which even in that vein, I was excited for Kenya and Portia to be
Hmm.
on screen and to be friendly to see how that would work. But you knew they were ultimately going to fall out again.
Yeah. I mean that it's what they do. Those are two people whose spirits simply do not align. They
At all.
they do not like each other. Like it's just not gonna work. It's really not. I'm cautiously optimistic, like you said. That was my Atlanta was my gateway in Housewives. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm always gonna hold a special place for Atlanta. I don't want to see Sheree back here again. I
At
don't
all.
want to see Marlo back again. We're good. Right, we're
If
good.
Sheree comes back, I would feel like lose so much respect for her because this is
Hmm.
the third time you're an OG on this show
Yeah.
and you have been fired three
Three
times
times.
and have come back every single time they've called you.
Yeah.
Stop. Give your peaches rotten to the core.
We
Throw it
have
away.
where is the shame? Every time they call, she comes running. And every time they're
Right.
like, "No, thank you. We're done with you." She's gone again.
And you're the substitute. It's like
Oh yeah, big
if and when the
time.
network gets good with Nene again, they would not call you. Your phone rang because Nene's
Mm-hmm.
didn't.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Um, and then with that, let's end on Potomac. I gotta be honest. I think that this was one of the most boring season finales ever.
Ooh.
I was not moved by it. Like, yes, I absolutely believe that Karen was talking shit about Wendy. Like Wendy said, I
Oh
don't think I know. I don't think I know. You know
yeah,
what I mean? To
he
hear
said
this
all that.
information is not shocking to me. I just was like, okay, so Karen be talking shit and Karen does what we knew she did in always.
I actually felt like this season finale was pretty good. Like I was happy that Stacy finally found her voice when they sat down
Oh
and were going
yeah.
back and forth. And when Stacy said, "What's in that cup?"
Oh, when she said that ate, she ate with that. I just wish she didn't look a mess when she said it because she looked a fucking mess.
I thought she looked good though. I liked the bob. It was tight.
What's wrong with the bob? Something. That bob was tight.
Perfect. It's tight. I
Uh,
thought she looked all right. Now blonde is not what she should have taken her advice. Blonde is not for everybody. She's a brunette girly.
that dress,
It's
no.
Vivian. She's being supportive.
Okay, we could then Vivian, but speaking of Vivian, I'm sorry, Vivian looked a mess to me too because when she, I don't know what camera angle we were looking at, but Mama had a ponytail holder in, just like a straight ponytail holder. I was like, what is happening? We are in couture. Okay, what are you doing? What are you doing? I
Fashion show with no fashion.
hello, hello, and the TJ's attitude. This isn't about you. This is not about you. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just showing up here. Da 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 da. I'm like, okay, just
Her
show
fr-
up and sit in the fucking corner there.
AJ clocked TJ
Mm-hmm.
instantly.
Yep, sure
I
did.
and that's a shame to see. He didn't like that man from the way he said he's too much. Which
Yeah.
I'm like, why did you answer the phone? And then he's a dick. I'm like, oh, he
He
goes, not you getting my name wrong. I'm like, okay, the man fumbled over J and T. Okay, calm down. You don't meet your
literally.
girlfriend's friends like that.
He was when he was like, "Oh, you get my name wrong." No, you got my name wrong. I was like, "Yo, you need to fucking relax.
Yeah.
You need to
And
relax."
I hope. Have you seen the rumors about them?
That he was paid.
And then, oh, I hope not. If she Waltered this man and brought this man on the show who has done nothing but disrespect her, play her for the fool, bring her
I,
back on my screen expeditiously.
I
It needs,
think. Oh, Stacey had a great first season. She had a great first season. She needs to be back 100%. I think that I could see there being a transactional deal there.
yeah, because people had the obvious like, oh, he was closeted. I never got that from him. What I thought truly was that he was trying to force her to claim him over her ex,
Mm,
and that he was pushing her out and punishing her, especially the more that we've seen his character,
hmm
punishing her for not saying this is my boyfriend instead of my best friend.
I think he wanted airtime.
Yeah.
I think he wanted airtime and she needed a little storyline. I think that I could see it being like one of my friends is like, no, why would she do that? He's an asshole. What is she getting out of it? She didn't know that he was gonna act like that. You know what I mean? I think that and because remember at Wendy's birthday party when he was like, I haven't seen you at all. What's your problem? You've been ignoring me. I'm like, that's not about, I don't think it's about her actually ignoring him. I think he's following the camera. He wants the camera time.
Yeah. Because
I
and then him showing up on set of Grey's Anatomy, I was like, who were you on Grey's Anatomy?
lit. Literally.
Man in the background.
Granted, I haven't watched Grey's Anatomy in oh my God. In like two, like I mean, they've had a new cast like twice since I've watched Grey's Anatomy the last time. But yeah,
Like a
I
soap
don't
opera at this point.
I think that he wanted camera time and she was just like, okay,
Mhm.
come with the storyline because my ex isn't gonna film. And I would be willing to bet that the ex probably didn't want Arabella on TV as much either. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if but yeah, and then we have Kiarna and Greg are taking a step back. Kiarna, take all the steps back, babe. Walk right out of his life.
Yeah.
Walk
He's
right out of his life.
abusive.
He's an
He
asshole.
shows signs of being. Did you see the way he was responding to her in the car? I'm like, the way he kept like whipping his head at her.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to Parlay and Married to Medicine a little bit. The same way that like Dr. Greg talks to Sweet Tea. They
Yeah.
talk to these women like they're daughters,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
which is why the whole dynamic of men dating younger girls makes my skin crawl.
Yep.
Because I'm like, you try to talk to them that way
Mm-hmm.
because anyway.
Because in your mind, you think that they are But they're younger than you. You know what I mean? There's a power
Mhm.
dynamic. There's clearly a power dynamic there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a manager. I have a full staff. A lot of them are younger than me. In my mind, and I am their boss. Like I am like, yeah, you know what I mean? I could not imagine dating any of them because the power dynamic is off. Like
Right.
it's and it's just I can't. Now, we saw Karen is not going to be at the reunion. I hate that she's not going to be at the reunion because we kind of ended this season on the her and Stacy fight, and now
Right.
I'm not I don't really get any resolve from that.
Yeah, I do feel like she should have came, but I know she was not going to slander her image after months of trying to say that she was going to be vindicated by the footage, which
Hmm.
was an insane move. Because if you knew what that footage looked like,
Did
why
you
would you let that come out?
did you have access to that footage, Karen?
I don't
Like
think so.
there's no way. And I even said this. I said, fuck the footage. When you woke up the next day and your head really hurt and you were unwell, you didn't think
I couldn't. I watched a little bit of it, and I
you
couldn't even finish it because I said I like
it's
this lady and respect her.
bad.
When she told that man, "I am Thomas Jefferson's concubine," I said, "Oh, oh," and then she looked at that cop and she said, "You are poor and
And
white."
white.
Oh, I said, "Oh, oh, Miss Girl, you should have pled guilty and you should have put yourself in rehab."
When I saw how she was talking to Ray at the crash site, I said,
Karen, Karen,
Karen, Karen, oh, Karen. I said, first of all, Ray is trying to help you. Ray is trying to help you. Okay, and you sitting there yelling at him? No, we're done.
because it brings validity a little bit to the Green Eyed Bandits
Yeah, it does.
of because and I uh, was there another man in the car that was, what are you hiding? But I think Ray knows. I think
I
they're
no, I
together.
don't think it's a secret. I don't think it's a secret.
Right.
You know what I mean? And my thing with kind of the same thing I said with like Mia versus Karen, they're having a character off, right? Mia's,
Mhm.
in the fraternity and stuff has nothing to do with Karen, but they're using what each other has brought to the table, which Karen being drunk and getting a DUI and Mia perpetuating this whole ooh, whose kid is Jeremiah's. They're trying to weaponize their shit against each other. Mia, Karen being a drunk hoe has nothing to do with you being a hoe. Okay? Like it has
Oh,
nothing to do.
and Mia
I'm done
fucking
with that
Thornton
lady. I'm done with
has
it.
to go. I just do not. She's posed. First off,
Mhm.
you come to Charlotte and go into the joint, and that's not even. I
How
live
embarrassing.
in the where they filmed
Mhm.
that minutes from me.
How many?
That's new.
Oh,
It's like 5 minutes from me. That's a new location. That joint, like her timeline did not add up with her being with that joint being open. Now, if you went to the one on University, maybe that's been there a while. And so you lied about that. That doctor did not know who you were, Dr. McDaddy or whatever.
no.
Is that a real doctor?
Right.
And then you have thrown everything about your child's,
Mm-hmm.
paternity, your relationship with Ray. You're throwing mania on that man.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that you brought to the table. You've been on this show long enough. This isn't your first season.
Right.
What you with the camera around is fair game. You don't know
Mm-hmm.
how the edit's going to look. You don't
Yep.
control that. If it's set in front of a camera, it's up for discussion. Nothing's private when it's on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why all of a sudden she was trying to say, "Oh, this is private. I told my friend this." No, you told the world this.
No, you did. Yeah. A
So
hundred
of
percent.
course we have opinions.
And again, you're coming from a place of I want to protect my kids, protect my kids, protect my kids, and you're perpetuating that Jeremiah is not Gordon's child on TV to all of us, not privately, on TV in front of everybody because you're all ink this, ink this, ink this. And now you and Ink ain't even together.
And did you see Quad clock her on Married to Medicine?
Mm-hmm.
When
Yep.
she said, "Oh no, you take at-home paternity tests. They're legit. You take them and you mail them off."
Yeah.
So she's like, "I've done it. That's a legit test." I'm like, Quad.
Yeah. It is a legit test. It is. Like, and you are Gordon. I hate to agree with the men, but Gordon is not wrong. I'm not going to
Right.
sit here and listen to you go back and forth and try and continue to question the paternity of my child when the answer is right there. I can do my part. You don't know if this child's mine. Well, guess what? The child's in my care right now. I'm going to do my part. I'm going to get the paternity test and we can end this all right now.
Right. And it's his kid
It
too,
is.
so it's not against her for him to do that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I lost a lot of respect for her.
Same. Same. Okay, Married to Medicine. What are your how are you feeling about Married to Medicine this season?
I love Married to Medicine,
Mm-hmm.
and dare I say, I'm in love with this group's dynamic.
Yeah.
I f- I feel like, oh, especially after last night's episode, I have a little bit of sympathy towards Sweet Tea, and I feel like she's more a deer in the headlights
Mm-hmm.
because it's insane that Dr. Greg wants to have so much vitriol towards Quad
Yeah.
because they were married, but then you bring Sweet Tea into Quad's house because
Mm-hmm.
that's Quad's home.
Yep.
You let her film in that house
Yep.
on camera, and the women, the first time they came into the house, oh, Quad didn't have a shit like this, and you have surround sound Simone
Yep.
and Doctor and Messy Heavenly,
Oh,
who are gonna come in there and
Simone.
call all that shit out. The first thing Heavenly said is, "Quad ain't had a shit like this,"
Mm-hmm.
and then you proceeded to let this woman continue to do the show.
I think I agree with you. He set her up for he did not set her up for success. He just did not. You like you've always heard me say in my videos, you brought your new wife to the exact place that you knew your ex-wife was. And not only your
Mm-hmm.
ex-wife, those women, like you said, surround sound Simone, Heavenly, you already know how them women operate. You know how they operate when it comes to this show. You did
Yeah,
Sweet Tea no favors. And I try like my sympathy and empathy for Sweet Tea is very, very short because Sweet Tea is not young. She's my
yeah,
age. She's 30, or she's like a year younger than me. I'm 32. Like, she is not dumb. She is younger than Greg. She is not young.
right,
Okay.
yeah,
So where is the common sense? Because Sweet Tea is also a fan. Sweet Tea is also a fan. She thought that this would be fun. Whenever Quad, I think Sweet Tea wants to be friends with Quad. But
yeah. The
Gregory
way she
is
looks at
in,
her,
yes, Gregory is in the way of that. And then when it gets into her and Quad having to get into it, listen, baby, you came to Quad's job, a job that Quad is an OG in. She's been doing for a long time. So when Quad meets you with the same energy that
right?
she would meet any of her castmates with, that pulled, or said or done any of the shit that you've done, it's got to be the same. She's not gonna not have words with you or not have anything to say with you just because you're married to her ex-husband. That would be annoying.
And you let him play hand into befriending Mariah Huck.
Mm-hmm.
What would Sweet Tea and Mariah Huck really have in common other than something to do with Quad? So you
Exactly.
centered her this lady in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and like she said, you wish you were me. And then
Mm-hmm.
you gonna sit your ass on that video. Quad's jealous of me. She got what I want. I got what she want. No, you don't.
She left Greg. Quad left Greg,
Right.
and that's why Greg's still so mad because how dare
Good.
she leave me? That is why Greg is so mad. Greg is an old misogynistic black man from the South. We
Oh,
have to be for fucking real.
he gets on my last nerve because
Same.
he's something about him is so just like chipmunkish.
Oh, it's
And I'm like,
he grates on my last fucking nerve.
you're a psychiatrist with no understanding for how humans work.
Oh, when he tries to pull out the I'm a psychiatrist and they don't listen to me and da da. Who does listen to you? Can you imagine having a psychiatrist and turning on TV and seeing what he keeps up? I'd be like, you're fired. We need
Yeah,
to find someone else.
because you don't have any decorum.
No, none, none.
Because you you know how humans work, and you put your wife in the situation,
Mm-hmm.
and you put yourself in a triggering situation. He
Yeah.
shouldn't have done the show
No.
because it's clearly they're a friend group in real life, which is one of the things that I will always applaud
Yeah,
Married to Medicine. This is a real friend group that
it
we just
is.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if these were your boys off camera, why did you have to come back to the show to film with them for a few weeks?
Exactly. And well, I think it was Eugene. Eugene was like, I think that Greg is, in a situation where he is bringing up a lot of old feelings and a lot of this. Greg knew, again, I state Greg went to the exact place where he knew where to find his ex-wife. He went to the exact fucking place where he knew he was going to find her no matter what.
And I don't feel sorry for him.
I don't either.
And even now with the previews of that man, I don't like to see him fight because I don't want to see a doctor fight, especially black men on TV fighting.
Exactly. Yeah.
However, how much disrespect do you think this barrel chested man is going to put up with from you?
Uh-huh. And we see that he has said, or that Quad said, my safety blanket, the guy that she's dating, has been taken away. So I'm assuming that Greg is like, I'm not, is got gets like some type of restraining order, is like, I'm not gonna be around him. I said that is all to still show Quad that he can control some parts of her life.
But he ran
Make
up on that man.
He
You don't
did.
ran up.
No.
Oh, what you say?
Mm-hmm.
You attacked him. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Size does not mean shit when it comes to a
Mm-hmm.
fight. Greg could have came and stole off on that nigga and not like.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what was? How was he to know you weren't running up on him to do something?
Exactly, right? And that's my thing. With Dr. Greg, it's all so clear the control to me. Okay, so it needs to be clear to other people. And Sweet Tea, again, to see your husband run up on his ex-wife's new man, you don't you don't think nothing of that? Because I would be like,
Hmm. If 1 plus 1 is 2,
I
and
would
two
be
plus,
like, I don't care if he said your mama. Why are you running up on that man like that? Why are you in his face like that? Because honestly, all Greg and Quad's new man had to do was coexist. That's all they really
right?
had to do. But somehow, some way, Greg is making it a thing. Why? Because he knew Quad's got a man now, and he don't want to see that shit.
But she was called bitter, and he wanted to pick
Mm-hmm.
and do that
Mm-hmm.
snickering little grimace laugh that he
Yep.
does last season because she was single around then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like you said, if I was sweet, he'd say, "Oh, you're not over her, and I'm here for revenge.
In the least, you're
You
not.
brought me on this show
Mm-hmm. No, in the least, you're not
as
over
a
the
revenge plot."
situation. In the least, you're not over the situation. I wouldn't fuck with that either. Because maybe you don't want to be with her anymore,
Yeah,
but why are you not over the fact that somebody left you? They're gone. They're done. They're not in your life anymore. Period.
and it's like showed you and told you she doesn't want you,
Mm-hmm.
and she's happy she left you, and she said leaving him was one of the best things she's ever done.
Mm-hmm. But he cannot stand that.
And like Dr. Damon said, if I was him, I would have packed up and left.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Exactly.
I wouldn't have done the show. And at the reunion, there's no reason. He is fame hungry because he wants this to do the same thing for his practice
Mm-hmm.
that it did, that it does for Dr. Jackie, that it does for Dr. Simone Heavenly. But I'm like, really, they don't really show their names. I think the only doctor on here that I've taken notice to promoting Heavenly is Heavenly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm a bit of an apologist for her. She does no wrong. I love that
Oh,
lady so much.
Heavenly does a lot of wrong, but she's entertaining as fuck.
Because you watch her YouTube.
No, I don't. There's only
Oh,
so much Dr. Heavenly I can take.
she'd be like, "I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna take it back," and she'll be like, "I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna take it back," and then say one of the worst things you've ever heard somebody say.
Uh,
And I'm on her side with the Yo Mama thing. I don't think she meant
oh
that.
no, that's my thing with her. They want to pick and choose. Heavenly's been saying your mama for the longest time. I don't
Right.
Contessa and her not being friends anymore. I can understand where it's like Okay, yes, I confided in you as a friend, but that doesn't mean get on your YouTube channel and talk about my husband, right? I'm with her there. My issue with Contessa is that she does not bring anything new back. We get it. You don't like Heavenly. You don't want to be her friend anymore. And I'm really tired of her acting as if Heavenly pulled out of her ass that Scott wasn't a good husband.
When it was
Like
said on the show.
it was said on the show. She brought it to the show, and Heavenly actually gave you the best part of advice, piece of advice, which was if you're gonna stay with him, don't say nothing else.
And I've had to give some of my friends that advice.
Oh, a
If you're
hundred
not gonna leave
percent.
that girl or that guy,
Uh-huh.
keep it close.
A
Because
hundred
what you're
percent.
gonna do is you're gonna make your friends and your family dislike
Mm-hmm.
that person.
Because there's a line between like, ooh, he is getting on my last nerve. Like, oh my God, his feet stank, da 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 da. And what
Mhm.
Contessa was telling us about her husband and what we saw. I don't
So
don't please don't tell me my eyes and my ears don't work because I know that they do. Like,
very
don't do
well.
that. Don't do that. That's what Contessa keeps trying to do, and it's upsetting to me.
And Heavenly, and I'm gonna defend my girl, only talks about the show. Like, yes, she goes a little bit and like tells a little bit of behind the scenes, but in regards to the other women, she only shares what was filmed and what we
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
So, like, how mad can you be at her?
Um,
Truthfully.
Heavenly is a staple on Married to Medicine, honestly, truly. I don't think she does everything right. I don't think she does everything wrong. I don't have the, people have visceral reactions to Heavenly. Like
Yeah.
they are either all for Heavenly, like all for her, or they're like, oh my God, what a loudmouth, nasty bitch. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't, I think a Heavenly is necessary.
Absolutely.
So I think
Hmm.
she is very necessary on and in the era of TV that we're in, of people are trying to censor themselves and produce themselves so much, it is refreshing to have somebody like
That is so authentic. Because I like when she starts the mess and she be like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that."
mm-hmm.
I was in that laugh she does.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love that shit so much. Like just
Which
hearing it, I'm like, you can tell she is having fun filming.
yeah,
Like, and it's for the show,
it is.
but and
Yeah.
it doesn't come off fake though. Even though she does a lot for the
Mm-hmm.
show,
Yeah.
it's for right because she'll say that on her show on her YouTube all the time. She's like, "We're filming a reality show and a TV show that people have to want to watch."
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, I stirred
100%.
the shit. Like that's what some of the other women need. That's what back to like Brent a little bit. That's what she should learn if she ever
Mm-hmm.
comes back, which I hope not. You do it a little bit.
Not yeah. Yep. 100%. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and end on that note. Cameron, please tell people where they can find you on socials if you want to.
I am at Wonderfully Wild Guy on TikTok and on Instagram. Cameron is wild, and I'm also a musician. I
Love
just
that.
started like singing and songwriting, so I'm on all streaming services as Cameron Wild with an exclamation point instead of an I.
Oh, okay. Love that. Love it. And y'all already know where you can find me over on Instagram. Who Asked Zell is my personal page. Who Asked Me Podcast is my podcast page. And Who Asked Zell is TikTok. And then YouTube is Zell Brooks. I will talk to y'all next week.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.